Amen. Administrator of our church, the Gate of Light, Birth of St. Mary, and St. Arsema, Orthodox Church in Lynnwood, Washington. The very Reverend Anketse, Kibru, Kibru, my fathers the priests, my brothers the deacons, fathers and mothers, men and women, boys and girls, beloved family of Almighty, today our brother Diakon Lidetu will be teaching us about Metsagu, so listen carefully.
Thank you, Diakon Kibru. So today is the fourth week of Abisom, or the Great Fast. So a few weeks ago, Diakon Itan taught us about the first week. Does anyone remember what it was? The first week of Abisom? Zawada, good job. And number 2? Besides those? Yeah, goodness. Okay. Number 3? Ukra, okay. And today is the fourth one. Does anyone know the name? Goodness just said it. Yep. Enough? Why? So we find the story of Metsagu in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verses 1 through 18. It was read in today's Gospel, so I'm going to read it. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said to him who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your bed." He answered them, "He who made me well said to me, 'Take up your bed and walk.'" Then they asked him, "Who was the man who said to you, 'Take your bed up and walk'?" But the one who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had withdrawn, a multitude being in that place. Afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you have been made well. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you." The man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. For this reason, the Jews persecuted Jesus and sought to kill him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath. But Jesus answered them, "My Father has been working until now, and I have been working." Therefore the Jews sought all the more to kill him, because he had not only broke the Sabbath, but also said that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. So back in the day, during Jesus' time, there was a pool called Bethesda. So, and at that pool, an angel would stir the water with his finger, and whoever came down into the pool first would be healed of whatever sickness they had, whether that's like blindness or paralyzed, something like that, and they would be healed. So there was a man who laid there, and he was sick for how many years? 38. Okay. So he sat there for 38 years, and every time he tried to go, another man would come, and then he would get healed instead of him. So Jesus saw him, and he went up to him, and he said, "Do you want to be healed?" And then the man who was sick said he couldn't be healed because every time he tried to go, someone else would come into the water and get healed. So Jesus told him to get up and walk. So he went up and walked, and the Jewish people came up to the sick man, and they asked him, and they told him that it's the Sabbath and you can't carry your bed and walk. But he blamed Jesus for what he did. He told the Jews that it was him. But he didn't know who Jesus was because Jesus left into the crowd because there was a lot of people. But then Jesus came back up to him. And then what did he say? Does anyone know what he said? Sin no more. Good job. And then after Jesus told him, sin no more, he went back to the Jews and told them that it was Jesus. And then the Jews started to persecute Jesus. So we saw that the man who was healed from Jesus, he blamed him. He was sick for 38 years, and he still blamed the man who was sick. He told the Jews that he told them to go against the Sabbath and walk. So, if, say for example, you went to a doctor's office, right, and you were sick, you were in a coma, and then they heal you, but on Saturdays, you can't heal someone, you can't do work on them. But the doctor, he healed you, and then they fire the doctor. That doesn't make sense, right? It's the same thing here. So the man didn't realize that the Sabbath, the man blamed Jesus, and the Jews said that the Sabbath you couldn't take your bed and walk, and that was a sin. But the real sin that Jesus was talking about was the unbelief, and he wasn't grateful towards Jesus for healing him. And not only just are we, and the story the moral we can get from this story is that when we're disabled or sick, not literally, but mentally, and when Jesus cries out to us and tells us, do we want to be healed? We shouldn't say no, we shouldn't go with the world, all right? We should say yes, and we should accept God's cry to us. Do we desire to be healed? Do we desire to be saved? Or do we desire to not be saved? And do we desire to be sick? And we should think about that. So the first question I have for you guys is, what was the pool called? Someone from the girls this time. You guys know. Yeah. The pool of wisdom, not quiet. Yeah? What was it? Close. If you guys haven't answered. You guys? Yeah. Bethesda, good job. I took good question. And the second question is, why do you guys think that Jesus chose this man? Anyone else have an answer? Okay, one more. If any, you guys are on the right track. Anyone else? Okay, good job, guys. I took good lecture. Glory be to God forever and ever. Amen. Let's go on the exam.
በእውነት ዲያቆናቱ በተለይም ዲያቆን ልደቱ እንዲሁም ዲያቆን ቅዱስ በማስተዋወቅ ዲያቆን ልደቱ የዕለቱን ትምህርት በማጥናት የተላከውን ትምህርት በመዘጋጀት ለሕፃናት የሚገባውን የሳምንታዊ ትምህርት በማቅረባቸው ቅዱስ ቤተክርስቲያን ደስ ይላታል። ሁላችንም ደስተኞች ነን። እግዚአብሔር አምላካችን ዲያቆናቱን ላሰሙት የሕይወት ቃል እግዚአብሔር አምላካችን ቃለ ሕይወትን ያሰማልን፣ ቃለ ሕይወትን ያሰማልን፣ በቤቱ በጥበብ በሞገስ ያሳድግልን። ሕፃናትን በሰሙት 60 30 60 መቶ ያማረ ፍሬ አፍርተው በቅዱስ ቤተክርስቲያን እስከ ዕለተ ሞታቸው ድረስ እንዲቆዩ እግዚአብሔር አምላካችን በቸርነቱ ይርዳቸው።